You won't believe how a billionaire's entire world collapsed when a new black maid walked into his mansion and uncovered the truth about his son, a boy everyone thought was born blind, and what started as an ordinary job for her turned into a story that exposed lies, greed, and the lengths people go to protect their power, because when she realized the child wasn't actually blind but trapped in a cruel game, everything changed. And this is how it happened. I had just been hired as a maid at the Goldstein mansion, a house so big it felt like a city of its own, filled with marble floors, glittering chandeliers, and silence so heavy it could crush you, and my very first day I noticed something strange about young Daniel, the billionaire's only son, who sat quietly in a corner room, always guided by nannies, always treated like he could not see a thing, and while everyone whispered that he was born blind and pitied him, something about his behavior didn't match the story, because when I accidentally dropped a silver tray on the floor, I saw his head snap toward it instantly, his eyes flickering with awareness, and my heart skipped a beat because a blind child would not react that way, but instead of saying anything I stayed quiet, watching him closely over the next few days, and every little thing confirmed my suspicion, like when sunlight streamed through the curtains he squinted, or when I passed him a toy, he reached exactly where it was without fumbling, and I realized the boy could see, but for some reason, everyone around him pretended otherwise, and that was the moment I decided I would get to the bottom of it. Days turned into weeks, and the more time I spent with Daniel the clearer it became that his blindness was a lie either he was forced to live or one created to control him, so one afternoon while reading aloud a storybook, I paused suddenly, and he, without thinking, continued the line from memory, pointing at the page with his tiny finger, and when he realized I was staring at him, his face turned pale, as if he had revealed too much, and in a trembling whisper he said, "Please don't tell my father," and that was the confirmation I needed, that the boy had been forced into silence. But why? Why would a billionaire pretend his son was blind? I found out the answer the hard way when I overheard a late-night conversation between Mr. Goldstein and his brother in the study, their voices low but sharp, the brother warning that if Daniel was ever proven healthy and capable, he would inherit the empire and cut others out of power, and Mr. Goldstein replied coldly that as long as the world believed Daniel was blind, he could maintain control. No board of directors would question his leadership, no rival would challenge his dominance, and the inheritance could be twisted however he pleased, and my blood ran cold at the thought of a father so willing to cripple his own son's future for money and power. From that night onward, everything was dangerous, because now I wasn't just a maid, I was the only one who knew the truth, and Daniel's eyes begged me every time we crossed paths, begging me to save him from a prison built of lies, and I promised silently that I would. I started teaching him secretly, guiding him to read and write at night when everyone else slept, helping him walk without holding anyone's hand, encouraging him to trust his own eyes, and with every step he grew stronger, his confidence blooming, and he began to smile like a child should, no longer broken, no longer ashamed, but all of it had to stay hidden because if his father found out, both of us would be destroyed. And then the day came when everything exploded, when a charity gala was held in the mansion, filled with investors, politicians, and the media, and Mr. Goldstein paraded Daniel around, pretending to be the tragic but noble father of a blind heir, and I stood in the corner clenching my fists as Daniel stumbled along, playing the part he was forced to play, until suddenly the chandelier lights above flickered and the room gasped, and I watched as Daniel instinctively looked up at the flickering light, his eyes wide, his pupils reacting, and in that instant dozens of people saw the truth, their murmurs spreading like wildfire, and Mr. Goldstein's face turned ghostly pale as the mask crumbled. Reporters swarmed, cameras flashed, questions flew like daggers, and Daniel, trembling but brave, whispered, "I can see," and the room erupted, with investors demanding answers, board members shouting betrayal, and Mr. Goldstein's empire collapsing right in front of his eyes, and though he tried to cover it up, the truth was undeniable. In the weeks that followed, investigations exposed years of lies, manipulation, and fraud. The billionaire's brother turned against him to save himself, and Mr. Goldstein lost his empire, his fortune, and his freedom. But Daniel, for the first time in his life, was free, free to be a child, free to learn, free to live without chains, and when he looked at me with tears streaming down his cheeks and whispered, "Thank you for giving me my eyes back," I knew every risk had been worth it.